Hari Om, Namaste. Today we will look into the topic called concentration techniques. So, the moment we think about the concentration depends upon the state of calmness, sereneness, or serene state of the mind, quiet state of the mind. If the mind is very agitated, if the mind is restless, if the mind is tired, the concentration level also goes down. In this modern era and the modern time, post-COVID, we find through the media or through the electronics media, most of the children's and the students and the college and university students are very useful and using the electronics devices such as mobile, laptops, desktop, and these are the essential part of our life. So we cannot avoid the mobiles or the gadgets, the electronic gadgets. So if it is not possible to avoid, what is the best way to maintain or retain our concentration? Because if we continuously go on observing the screens, we are into the screen addictions, which is causing the concentration level to go down, which is causing the memory to go down, and we are not able to find the children sitting quietly or silently for a minute too. So the concentration level is going down. What is the way out? What are the things can be done to develop our concentrations? For this, I would like to share few of the examples, few of the experiences. So one of the school teacher at the high school level was giving 2 minutes of breath awareness before the class begins. Before he starts the class, he will ask each and every student to close your eyes and observe your breath. The students follow very peacefully and very patiently, and the result we find, whatever has been taught in the class is well understood and student able to produce the answers and the same whatever has been taught to the students. Similarly, another teacher has asked the student to meditate on the role models and the person whom they like most, and in that case also we observe the students are able to come out with good answers, able to produce whatever is being taught in the classroom. So later on we observe or we understand that these breath observations and meditating on a role model or remembering the role model and completely getting absorbed with the role model are the techniques for concentration development. Concentration, the word, again when we look into the Sanskrit term, it is called dharana. So focusing state of the mind is very important, and it is like a art, how to focus the mind and how to defocus the mind. It was in the ancient time, it was in our regular practice. So the children being after 8 years asked to practice the meditation and practice the japa. Through the practice of japa and meditation helps them to develop their concentration level. So as I told, if we want better concentration level, we should have a calm mind, we should have a quiet mind or serene mind. The mind should be very calm. So our cultures, our heritage, our wisdom talks about meditation, that is called dhyan. So here we see the different level of the mind or different dimensions of the mind. So one dimensions of the mind is quicker mind, sharp mind, brilliant mind. And another dimension of the mind we see, the mind is relaxing and it is resting. Another dimension of the mind is the higher level, that is called like this higher consciousness or state of meditation, where the mind is very alert, sharp, wakeful, and it is slow. But the result is having good amount of memory, good amount of concentration power. So similarly, there are several techniques being given by the various masters. So in Satkarma, in Satkriyas, we find one of the technique that is called Trataka. So as we know that whole day we are spending the time with the mobile, laptops or the desktops for our educations or our daily activity requirements, to fulfill all these things. But same time we should not forget to give deep rest to the eye muscles, to retain or maintain a good eye health, healthy eyes and healthy optic systems. The system which is working, that should be very, very restful. So when we give deeply rest, consciously rest to the complete our visual system, that works in an efficient way further. So here we can see in Trataka is a technique which deal with the optic system or optical system, which is related to the eye and the optic nerves and the occipital part of the brain. So the moment we start practicing the Trataka, it has the two phases. First phase talks about the eye exercise and the relaxations in between the exercise. And the second part talks about the concentration on a flame or a object. And there are practice in between, again different type of palmings. So before I start talking about the techniques, how to practice, there are some references. At the time of name ceremony of the Lord Krishna, when the Rishi Garg visited the house of Nandalal, the moment he seen the babies, the boys' babies, he got concentrated, he got focused, he completely absorbed, and he able to get the vision of the Chaturbhuja Rupa Lord Vishnu, and he got the vision of Sesanaga, which is Lord Balarama. Another example I want to set it here, that is by the Buddha. Once Buddha got enlightenment, he want to practice the concentration through different object from the nature, and he stood for 15 days without blinking his eyes and meditate on the root of the trees and the objects, and he able to realize or experience that state of existence again. So through the practice of this concentration, we can get the effortlessness way of practicing the concentration and getting back into the state of our existence. So the concentration leading towards the spiritual absorption is called yoga. When the concentration become effortless, that is called dhyan, or that is called meditation. So the third dimensions of the mind, which talks about the higher level of consciousness or the supreme consciousness, is indicating about the spiritual absorptions, and that is possible when we give restful activity to the mind, not only focusing into the mobile or the computer or the desktop. So the yogic techniques provides this conscious way of relaxations to our optic systems. So let us look into the practice. So when we say Trataka, the Trataka divided into two parts, that is called Antaranga and Bahiranga. Bahiranga means external concentration practice, and Antaranga is internal observations and practice. So some exercises which is advised by the masters, like the eye exercises, to retain or maintain a better eye health conditions. So the first practice begins with vertical movement of eyeballs, followed by the simple palming. The second practice begins with horizontal movement of the eyeball, and the palming is simple palming. The third level, when we see the third exercise, that is called the diagonal movement of the eyeball, that is extreme to the right up corner towards the left down corner, and followed by the palming called press and release palming. Similarly, we go for the opposite direction, that is the practice of left off extreme and right down extreme, corner to the corner, and followed by the press and release palming. After this third practice, we have a practice called rotational movement or clockwise anti-clockwise movement, where the eyes are rotated in the clockwise directions and anti-clockwise directions, and followed by we provide the constant pressure palming, which gives the deeper and deeper relaxations to the eye muscles. So the palmings are different here: simple palming, the press and release palming, and constant pressure palming. As the intensity of the practice or exercise we increase, so the deeper and deeper relaxation we need to provide to the muscles. So there are different palmings. For simple exercises, simple palming. Further deeper exercise, we provide the press and release palming, and further exercise we provide the constant pressure palmings. And after practicing this eye exercise part, we go into the next part, that is called the practice of Jyoti Trataka. In Jyoti Trataka, we have the practice of simple gazing on a flame. Then we have the practice of intense gazing at the tip of the wick of the flame. And then we have the practice of deep focusing, widening of the vision. So first practice, which is called simple gazing at the Jyoti for 30 seconds, followed by the practice called press and release palming, which gives the deeper relaxations to the eye muscles. And the second practice, when we go for the intense gazing, then we apply the palming called constant pressure palming, and then we get into the third practice, that is called defocusing practice, where we apply the constant pressure palming with the Brahmari, which deeply relaxes the muscles as well as the nervous system. So the total practice around 20 minutes, if we are able to spend in a days, we observe the conditions of the health of the eyes develops. People, those who are practicing regularly, they are having a good eyesight, they are able to come out of the short sights or the long sight of the eye vision or the eyesight problems. Even the people have got damage of their rod and the cone also have some rehabilitations. They are able to slow down the further damage. Even they can have better vision. One of the example I would like to give here, in the year of 2007, one of the doctor asked me to teach the practice of eye exercise to another doctor who visited in the time of conference. So the doctor Nagratna suggested, as he is for 7 days, can you take the class for this Dr. Brijesh Mathurji to develop his eye conditions. So I'd say, why not? We can have the practice. We will start with the eye exercise few days and then we'll practice the Jyoti Trataka too. So 3 days of practice of eye exercise followed by the different palming 3 times a day. We observe the person, Dr. Brijesh Mathur himself, he said that now my clarity is developed. I am able to see the things more clearly. It indicates about that the health of the eye which is developing. And after 7 days of practice, he found a remarkable changes, a good change. And with this example, we understand that this Trataka practice is a better technique, unique technique to develop the health of the eyes. So no doubt there is the people using the mobiles or the electronics gadgets and the practicing on the computers due to their educations and professional activities. We cannot compromise or sacrifice, but can we take 20 minutes in a day and spend for few minutes for the eye exercise and few minutes for the Jyoti Trataka and develop our eyesights. So yoga has the immense power and the opportunity to make ourselves a better person, to improve our efficiency in the field of work or the educations. By adoring few yogic techniques, we can develop our quality of teaching, quality of our understanding and our goal of the life. That is the message which I would like to propagate in my talk. Thank you so much. Wish you all the best. Namaste.